This episode of the Mimic's Veil is sponsored by Taste Invader Tea. Treat yourself to 15% off an order of daring and delicious tea at tasteinvader.co.uk using code TMV. And today, we welcome our newest patron, Adrian. We also talk about Puffies, Star Overdrive, and Blueprints.
I'd really been looking forward to Blueprints for a long time. Well, not for a long time, because it was one of these games I'd never heard of until Phil drafted it and Fantasy Critic, and then I looked into it and I'm like, oh, this looks like it very much should be an Alex game. And I'm not sure it is. I don't know, there's something, I really like it. I like how it's presented, I like how it's a little bit obscure, but I almost think it's a bit too up its own arse in how obscure it is. I'm not that far. I'm about 5 hours now, and I know, Ben, you've said to me, at the 5 hour point you might something might click, and I think I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I think I've understood what appears to be the puzzle isn't the puzzle, and there's another puzzle in the background, and loads of other things going on, but I'm just like, do you need to be this obnoxiously obtuse to make a game these days? Like, I don't know, I'm enjoying it, and I like taking the note-taking element of it. I like the kind of puzzles that are given to you at face value as well, like the ones in the dartboard and things like that. Those things I think are really quite cool. The rest of it, I feel like, right, you're trying to get me to do this, I know what you're trying to get me to do, but why does it need to feel so slow? Even when you make them walk fast, like, it feels far too slow, and it's not a 90 plus game for me. Like, there's too many niggles to it for it to be that, but I could get there with it. It's maybe just I need to persevere to get through to the real, not the real game, but the end game.
Yeah.
But something's just not clicking for me.
So, Lewis, I know you've been on holiday, so you probably weren't as caught up in the Blueprints hype.
Yes, I deliberately didn't start it so that I didn't want to have a week of not being able to play it. So
sensible. But so I'm not sure if you're aware like what it even is, but in a nutshell, it's like it's a first person puzzle game, basically, where you're playing as a kid that's inherited or can potentially inherit this manor from his uncle, but he only get his full inheritance if he finds the 46th room of this manor, basically, and that is the game. That's the whole thing. Is you going around room to room, and every door you leave, you draft 3 potential rooms that you can then have as the next room to go to.
Yeah.
And that's all completely random. So this roguelike, which I think puts people off as well, just when you throw that term there.
Can I quickly jump in with a question?
One.
How is it a roguelike?
How? Because the mana resets every day.
Right, okay.
So
you die.
Well, you get... So how it works is you get a certain amount of steps every day. So you use up a step each time you go to a new room. And then when you've run out of steps, the day ends. And then you have to come back the next day, and then everything's reset. And then So basically you start off in this hallway where there's 3 doorways. You can open one, draft, a hallway or a bedroom, or it could be a dead end with like a closet with a couple of items in it and things like that. So it does feel. What I was quite surprised by was how roguelike it does feel.
Yeah.
and I liked that about it. That, in a way, that appealed to me more than maybe just like a narrative puzzly thing. So yeah, that part of it is cool.
Yeah, the other way that you can die, for want of a better term, is you basically lead yourself into a dead end. So you get to a point where you don't have enough keys to open the next door to get through, because the further up you get, you need keys to open some of the more advanced doors, or a key card, or different bits and pieces.
Or gems.
Or gems, depending on the different things that you've got activated. But you can basically... You can draw those 3 doors. Whatever one that you then pick won't give you a way to progress, because it could lead you into 3 dead ends, or 2 dead ends, or 1 dead end, and you just can't go any further, which is frustrating. But I've been thinking about that. Sorry, I've been thinking about that level of it, and I don't think this game would have worked without that element of it, because if you had like a strict structure of how these rooms were drawn, or how you were like laying it out, then it would actually get quite boring quite quickly, because you're like, well, I know that I want to put that room there, and then that room onto that, and that room onto that, and you just do the same thing each time, that you wouldn't really explore as much. You would just be plotting it out. It needs it.
Yeah, agreed.
How many steps do you get? Assume less than 46.
I think you start off with 45.
Start with 50.
50. But there are ways that you can increase your steps, or replenish your steps, or like permanently increase your steps, kind of thing.
And you use a step every time you go between a room, so it's not necessarily every time you add a new one. So like if you go from one room to another, or come back, or go the other way, then you use the steps. It's not just for like when you're picking a new room. It's every time you go through a door, essentially.
But I do think it's one of those games where I put my faith in the reviews being so positive, and thought, I am going to trust that this is going to click with me at some point. Because like I said, Alex, about the 5-hour mark is where it kind of became... I wouldn't even... I think I would agree with you. I think 9 out of 10 for this is a bit much. I do think it's a very solid 8, really. It feels like it's really, really good, but there's enough niggles to make it not quite that level. But when it did click, and when it starts to dawn on you what you have to do, and all the various pieces that you have to put in place just to get to this, so you're basically trying to get to the antechamber at the start, at the top of your grid, and then get through there to get to room 46, and it's working out how to do that. When that starts to fall into place, and you're like, right, well, I've got this thing, so I know now that I've got this thing and I've saved this thing, if I can find that room, then I can unlock that door, and then I can get here, and then you kind of... it all just sort of falls into place, and then you're just waiting for the perfect run. And I think that's the biggest downside of the game, is that RNG, and just, am I going to get everything I need on this run? Because I know what I need to do now, but unless I get the rooms and everything else that I need, then it's like, what am I going to do? Like, and there is, the good thing is there's always something to do. There's always, draft a new room that you've never had before. Try and look in different places and stuff like that. Lewis, please.
I'm going to ask a question. For me,
Go.
And for the listeners, what does RNG stand for?
Random number generation.
Thank you very much.
It's basically all that stuff that's in roguelikes, and everything's kind of down to chance. I think it's, double check. I think that's what it is.
Random number generator, essentially.
Yeah. Close enough. Yeah. So that element of it is, in a way, that's what I quite like, because that's the roguelikey part. But it is frustrating. My last few runs were a bit like, okay, I just need to get this, and this, and then I can wrap this up, kind of thing. So it's a bit like, and there's always a way to cheese these things. And then
Ben found it.
if there's a way, I'm gonna find it. And so I was drafting a room that I knew I needed as the first room. So I went in, drafted my first room. If I didn't get that room, I was like, okay, restart. And I was just doing that until I got that one room that I knew I needed to do A, B, C, D, E to get where I needed to go to finish it off, kind of thing. And it's brilliant. You feel like a genius when you pull it all together. There's just there's so many layers to it, and I do think rolling credits isn't the end. It's kind of like people said with Animal Well last year, where it's like, okay, well, yeah, but you've rolled credits where you haven't really played Animal Well.
Yeah, you've not found out the eggs.
Exactly. There's like you don't even know you've walked past 100 puzzles. You don't even know.
Have you unlocked a door in the house? What door in the house?
All that kind of stuff. And funny, I was talking to Max about it because he's finished it as well, slightly after me. And we were chatting about it. And there's one kind of big overarching puzzle that takes a long time to solve. And he solved it, and I never did. But he told me like what it was. And all it does is tell you how to solve these other puzzles that I'd already figured out without solving this big one. So I was quite like, I'm quite glad I didn't waste my time.
What's that big puzzle?
Well, I don't want to say. It's one of those you don't want to spoil stuff. So you have to be a little bit coy talking about this game because it's very,
Because that's what I was like. Because it was bits like I was having a run, and then it was before you found certain tools, and then there was these tools that you found that told you the answer to this. I'm like, well, I already worked that out, and I've done that. And then it told you, but I've already done that as well. And then you're like, I mean, it was quite obvious. You went from A to B to C to D. It was like the rules of mathematics. Like,
well, that's the thing, yeah. Like you said, the billiards room with the dartboard was like, all right, I figured that out. Yeah. But then way later, there's like this whole thing explaining.
It told you. Yeah.
I was just like, well, yeah, I've figured that out. Which again, it's quite nice, and it's quite nice to listen to podcasts of people, like really struggling with it. And I was like, I struggled a bit, obviously at times, but not like. There's someone who said they didn't even realise you could go outside.
That's the first thing I did.
That's exactly the same thing. First thing I did was turn around and look outside. But yeah, someone's like, "Oh, I never thought of that." Like, it's just odd seeing how like all of our brains work so differently.
Yeah.
But,
why do you need to take notes?
Because there's things that it'll tell you, like at specific points in the game that you just want to remember that you're not necessarily going to come across them again, and you'll forget. It's not so much you need to take notes. Like there's some, like one of the first rooms I went into, I noticed like some things were numbered, and I'm like, well, that's going to come in useful at some point. So I wrote down the order of the number of the things that I seen, because I'm like, you're just like, I know I'm going to have to use that at some point, and I did, and it was very helpful because I'd written down. But it's not so much you need to write things. I think it's more for reminders than anything else. I'd say you need to write things down. It's not so much that you need to be like, oh, this happened at such and such, and you need to remember. It's more, oh, I've found the code for something, and I'm going to need that at some point, so I'm just going to note that down in case I forget about it, and things like that.
Yeah, I think the note-taking element of this has been overblown. Okay. Like, I'm a big note taker, as you know, but I've probably referred back to my notes, I don't know, 3 times.
Just maybe like, 3 or 4, like,
I remember
those specific bits.
Yeah, but not. I mean, there's a little note right near the beginning that says you should probably keep a notebook with you, and it did come in handy, but it's not like you're not going to have pages and pages and pages of stuff. I don't think. But yeah, I did feel like playing it post credits, which is always a good sign, because I think I enjoyed how it's just really nice and chill. Like there's no there are bits when you're getting a good run together, there is that same like, oh, I hope nothing bad happens. I hope I can draft this room and not hit a dead end and carry on going. But other than those moments, it's pretty relaxing, and like the puzzles are. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing too like strenuous. There's like these, little logic puzzles, and there's a couple of rooms that I was like, now, well, there's a safe in here, and there must be a clue in this room to how to get into the safe. And a few of them are like, head scratchers. But if you like doing that sort of puzzle, I think you'll like this. Which,
is it a smart game?
Is it a smart game?
Mm-hmm.
I did recommend it to him. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I sent him a message yesterday actually and said, "You definitely need to play."
I can see him getting frustrated at it though.
I don't know.
Said before that he doesn't like hand holding in any like puzzle games. Like I forget the series that he really likes. And
No, I mean like, probably more the roguelike element of it.
Yeah, the luck aspect, and there is a bit of that. But I think that feeling of piecing together a mystery is much stronger than because, as I said, even the frustration of my run's going to come to an end because I've only drafted dead ends and I've got nowhere to go. You just call it a day and you start another run. Like you don't lose anything.
Is that game's terminology, or is that just general? Because I'm not a roguelike guy. You're saying draft.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, because you are literally drawing the blueprints of this mansion sort of thing. So yeah, I think that's what they call it.
It does refer to it as drawing the rooms, and you do one of the rooms you can get to is the drawing room, but it lets you like refresh the
that's cool.
The rooms that you're drafting and stuff. So yeah.
Do you think it would suit VR? Because I'm watching some gameplay. I don't know if it's because it reminds me of the Room VR or that other one. Its name escapes me.
I don't see why not.
No, I don't see why not. But
it's very slow.
It's,
which I like in a VR game.
I don't know, but I think the roguelite element would be even more annoying in VR though.
Yeah, maybe. But then I don't know, something like Synapse. It's roguelike. Brilliant. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think it could work. And there's it's probably a lot of the rooms, there's not much to interact with.
No.
Like a lot of them are pretty static. You might have like a gem that's always laying on a table in one of the rooms or something like that. But there's not much to do. There's stuff to observe in the rooms and go, oh, why are those paintings there and stuff like that. But there's not really, like in VR, you always want you want it to feel tactile. I think it might. They'd have to. I don't know why they would make a VR version of it. I can't see. This seems to be a massive success already. There's no need to.
No, it just reminded me of those other ones based in a nice mansion.
Well, there is another game coming out of the makers of the Room VR, which might kind of tickle that fancy in VR low anyway, the Ghost Town, which is a bit of a narrative through it, but like the Room. So that is coming fairly soon, if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think we are, by the sound of it, Alex, I'm more positive on it than you, but I wouldn't say I was like screaming from the hilltops that this is game of the year. I think it'll be in my top 10 probably, but mid-table towards the bottom even, maybe.
I think I'll probably get more positive when I finish it. I think it's just at the stage I'm at with it that I'm a wee bit more down on it, and I just think I don't know what it is that's frustrating me, to be honest with it. I think I would just want them to move faster. I think that's probably my biggest frustration, because I feel like, particularly when you're then going outside and exploring some of those other areas, it feels really slow. Even when I saw someone the other day saying it was like day 59 and I realised you could run. I'm like, oh no, we're not run. Or like, I realised you can move fast, but I'm like, that's still not fast. Like,
no, it's not fast. It's so not fast that you almost question yourself if pressing L2 is actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Like
really?
I seem to be going slightly faster. It could be my imagination. Like it doesn't feel that different at all. I would say though, again, another sort of counterpoint to the frustration of it is quite fun to just pull those rooms at random and see what you're going to get, and then choose a new room and then go in there and go, ooh, like that. I don't think that ever stops being fun. And even post finishing it, I've had a couple of runs since and drawn a couple of new rooms, and yeah, that part of it is just fun. You know, it's the same as like pulling cards out or opening a blind bag or whatever. It's that same. What am I going to get? What am I going to get? And that's cool.
And talking to the fortune teller is quite fun.
I only ever did that once. I never thought to do it again.
Tells you different things. Second time he told me a lot more.
Yeah. And there is, I would say that's the other thing we haven't really touched on, is there is the narrative behind it that you sort of piece together. And I know, Lewis, you like doing that in games, don't you? Like piecemeal, getting disjointed bits of the lore and just putting it all together. And that is quite interesting. And I think that's what most of the post-game stuff is probably just solving that once and for all and knowing exactly who the hell you are, what's really going on, why your uncle has chosen to give you this inheritance in this odd way, which makes for a good video game but seems bizarre in the real world. But it is a cool one.
It's very cool.
It does look cool. It gets very positive reviews on Steam. Two actually. I'm gonna pull out here. Not recommended. At time of review, 24.8 hours, but 44.9 on record. So they've continued. They can are bumping their gums about bits and pieces. And then also not recommended, 57.6 hours.
Jesus. And I think, I was about 17 or 18 hours when I rolled credits.
Yeah.
And
their second. Sorry. You go.
And I would carry on playing it, but I can't imagine carrying on playing it would make me hate it. I think it would only make me like it more.
Well, they'll say to you, second paragraph of the 57-hour one. To be fair to the game, the first 15 to 20 hours were pretty amazing.
Right.
I just checked in at 5 hours. That is where I'm at. And I was being quite good because I waited a while to start this because I'm like, I want to finish this other game that I'm playing first. Like, there's very rare that I've been like that. You me.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. But also, Alex, the lack of trophy pops is very apparent in Blueprints.
I know some of those reviews were really funny. I mean, like, it was that Xbox Achievements one that knocked the review score right down because it says it's just such a terrible achievement list. It's like it really should reward you for some stuff early on. I mean, I have 5 hours and I haven't popped a trophy yet. Like, it's,
you won't.
They've knocked the review score down because of the achievements.
But I mean, it is the Xbox Achievements website that's scoring it. So I mean, that's the thing. So the way they do the reviews, like the review over like 5 different categories, and achievements is one of the categories, and that's just pulled it down. Which is fair enough. That's the approach.
What a travesty.
I will say, so I've only got one trophy in it since rolling credits, and I could have easily missed that as well. Like if I wasn't paying attention. That's how stingy it is with trophies. Yeah.
Good.
So, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's such a Lewis game.
Trophy nonsense. Yeah,
stick it to the trophy whores.
Definitely going to play it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Whereas I did a quick run of Vampire Survivors just before this and played one and got 8 trophies at the end of that one. And I'm like, yeah,
Christ. Yeah, it's a funny one. I can't quite put my finger on whether Lewis would like this or not. I think normally I've got a good read on it, but I don't know if all the elements are there that I think he'd enjoy, but there is that frustration and up its own arseness that he does like a bit of that, so to speak.
Yes.
But
And also in games.
in games. And but yeah, whether he I think it's a patience. It's a slow, plodding, bumbling across information that may or may not help you kind of thing. Yeah. So
It's quite a nice Portal game as well.
it's lovely. I played most of it on the Portal. It's sublime. Sublime. Nice bedtime game as well. Just, yeah.
Chill out.
It's a good one. Chill
slow
out.
Slow pace. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more thoughts on Blueprints before we move on?
Nothing else from me at the moment, and I hope my thoughts on it get better as I progress.
Yeah. That would be interesting to see. So, Lewis, you have been on your hollybobs.
I have.
And not wishing to dox you, but you've been living in a lighthouse for a week, let's say.
I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Ensuring the passing ships are safe.
Good. And any that I assume you did that well? Everyone was happy?
No fatalities.
Excellent. What is the No, I'm just picturing you as a siren, like a mermaid, sitting on the rocks,
Sitting on a rock.
flapping your little tail.
Candyman, Candyman.
Yeah, one of them. But yeah, you put in the show notes, because we do occasionally have show notes. I thought it said puffins, and that made me think, oh, he's being funny because he's stayed at a lighthouse. He said all he's done is play with puffins. Ha 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 ha. But it doesn't say
a joke.
puffins. Yeah, it would be a good joke. But Puffies.
Puffies, obviously.
Tell us about Puffies.
I've been playing Puffies, which is on. Don't Google it on your work computer. On iOS, Apple Arcade.
Nice.
I was just scrolling through. I was like, I wonder if there's anything that I can have a little shot off. And Puffies came up. And what it is a puzzle game where you unpack like sticker packs, like almost for kids sticker packs that have got there's lots of different ones on the sheet.
Oh, like the puffy stickers, like the ones that like the three-dimensional
like
ones.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
that
a good
makes
way to
sense.
put it. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. And what you need to do is put the stickers back onto the sticker sheet in the right place.
So like a jigsaw.
Just like a jigsaw. So you'll see the outlines, some funky shapes of the outlines, and you'll get a few stickers to start with, and you'll, well, that one there, that doggo, I can see the ear shape at the top left there. I'm just going to, and it works. And then, look, then that sticker sort of slides up at an angle. That obviously goes in here. And you just build back out the sticker pack. So at first I was like, this is too easy. But you know what? There are hard ones.
Right.
XL as well. Just, bigger packs.
Yeah. More complex stickers.
More complex. Yes. And there's also a daily challenge where you get shiny stickers, and you're presented with the full sticker sheet, and you need to put these stickers back on as best you can. It's very good. And I was trying to find there frantically, because there is achievements on this, on Apple Arcade, and I've got 8 of 55.
Oh, well done you.
And it's had zero impact on my enjoyment of the game.
I don't believe you. I bet there was a little bit of achievement there.
Get that pop-up off my screen. Get rid of it. Yeah.
No, it's like I've played it today as well.
Right.
Sat downstairs, I was like, I'm going to play some Puffies.
It looks lovely. I like the art style and stuff. It looks.
Yep.
It looks
I'm
really
on
cool.
the Apple fandom page for it. It's 4+, so
Right.
I think anybody can play it.
Well,
it's a good time, Get a sticker, stick it back on that sheet, get another sticker, rinse and repeat.
has it got like a satisfying sort of noise to it when you find the right place? Because that's, what was it? Wilmot works it out. That was really like clicky and
Yeah. I've got a good answer for you, Ben.
Go on.
Because it's on my phone. It's muted.
Hey! Oh, prepare to be ridiculed for the rest of your life for daring to mute a game.
Just unacceptable.
Let's just assume that it does. It does have a really satisfying noise. There's a little gleam when you put the sticker back in the right place. That is obviously paired with a lovely, note.
Yep. Any haptic feedback when it happens?
No.
Would you have them off as well?
There's no, as far as I'm aware, no haptic feedback on the game.
Mm.
I don't think you get haptic feedback on mobile games, do you? On like Apple Arcade games? I'm not sure.
Well, you get haptic feedback on your screen.
Yeah. Surely.
I'm not sure.
Or is this one of those things where
That switched off as well?
Yet to introduce it.
It's too... Yeah, I can't... If it is there, it's very subtle. Or
you pay extra for it.
Yeah, pay extra attention for it because I have not noticed.
How many levels to finish this, do you know?
I don't know, because every after you finish each level, you're given points. Points, you get a certain amount, and you unlock more sticker packs, like the sequels of ones you've done before. So you get like Chef's
Part
Easy,
2.
and you get Chef's Part 2.
Nice.
Medium.
Are there any licensed ones?
I don't think so. There might be. I don't know that I've seen.
I like the way you think, though, Alex. That's the way to expand, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me. I can look right now. I don't think there is. But it's just one of those. Like I was away, middle of nowhere, making sure the boats were okay. I was like, I need a nice
one eye
back.
on the boats. Two ears on the boats. That's the main thing. Because sometimes when that fog settles, yeah. Puffy. Yeah, Sean Puffy Combs in better times would have been a good collaborator with this, wouldn't he? But maybe not now.
Maybe not now.
Maybe not now. Maybe he could turn his image around by this cutesy little game.
And all these rainbows over his head.
Yeah, it's I recommend it if you've got it on Apple Arcade or if it's on something else. It's harmless fun. You could spend some time playing it. When there's nothing else to do. What I'm going to do, read.
What are you? An adult?
Yeah. Read? Or puppies. Come on.
We don't read books in Scotland.
No.
Burn them all.
Burn the books.
So that is Puffies, and that sounds like a hearty recommend.
Yep.
Good. Well, thank you. Do you know what, Lewis? Credit to you for bringing something to the table that I'd never heard of. I don't think Alex has ever heard of it either. So
no, not familiar with Puffies.
Annoyed thinking it was puffins.
I was looking forward to hearing about your birding exploits. In fact, save that for after. Alex, another game I haven't ever heard of, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure you probably have, but you probably don't realise. But yeah,
because it's got a generic name.
Yeah.
What is that generic name?
Star Overdrive.
Yep. No idea what that is.
And where you would have seen this before, and where you might I don't want you to gasp too loudly or anything here, but this was on that last Nintendo Direct for the Switch one, because this was coming out on a Switch.
Right.
And I played this on a Switch.
What?
Yeah, I actually used my Nintendo Switch.
No fucking way.
So I've been playing this, and it's you might remember it. It was it's almost like this open world, but you are surfing about on a hoverboard, and your sword is a keyboard, and all this nonsense. So it's that one, and it's basically it is an open world adventure. And I've seen people kind of be like, it's almost like a sci-fi Breath of the Wild. Some people have been comparing it and it's not.
I was going to say that's a big claim.
It is this big empty open world, which I'm the negative Nelly of the evening by the sounds of it tonight. But I think I really like going about on the hoverboard, and it's quite fun, and you go through these little portals, and it speeds you up, and you need to jump and do tricks, and it's almost that kind of like snowboarding element of it going through, and that bit's quite good fun. You've got different puzzles to explore. You go through, and you're like, the first thing you come is like, oh, you need to activate this tower, but you can't because the power's out, and you need to follow the power lines to go and leads you to like these 3 nodes, and they take you to like a dungeon. You need to solve this dungeon to switch it on, blah blah. You know, but that's kind of, you get the gist.
Yeah.
But then it'll make you fight things, and then that just makes you want to turn it off because the combat's awful. Like it's like you're just like, why is this so unintuitive? Like, I don't know if it's I will caveat this here, like, I'm very unfamiliar with Switch these days, and I keep pressing the wrong buttons because like the buttons are in the wrong places.
They're in the right place.
No, they're in the wrong places.
In the right.
The other platform holders are wrong. Nintendo is correct.
But it's just the combat is, and I have like seen another few reviews and stuff for this, and they also call out the combat, and the whole thing just feels like it's got a lot of good ideas, but it could be so much better. It has been on Steam, I think. This is the first it's come to consoles. But the hoverboard bit of it's quite cool. Like the sound design and the whole kind of sci-fi design of the game is quite cool. Like the protagonist and the characters that you see. The main protagonist is called BIOS, which is a pretty terrible name. But it's, and you land on this planet because your ship's blown up or crash landed, but you were heading there for this SOS call that you're trying to solve. But it just, I wish it was a wee bit better. It is, as soon as I was starting to fight some things, I just didn't want to. Like, it was just, and it does that whole thing that it just gives you the game over screen when you die, and but it takes too long on a Switch to load back up, and you're just like, nah.
Is it an early access? Because on Steam it says planned release date 19th of June.
No, well, maybe that's a full release on Steam, but I don't think this is early access on Switch.
So
maybe that's a full release coming to Steam. But I think the other thing I've seen it criticised for, and I feel that way, like, you can upgrade all the weapons, you can get new abilities. So the first ability I've got is like grab, so you can grab big objects to move them, so that you can then throw them and stuff like that. Like, kind of, but it's, you need to try and find within the world the different upgrading items so that you can do these upgrades, and it's a bit stingy with it, but you can find random things to like customise your hoverboard and all this, which again is quite cool. But it's just, there's not enough there for me to be able to recommend this unless you pick up that you really fancy it. Unfortunately, it's a shame. Because it could be good. Like, it's a nice setting, nice art style, nice music.
But nice,
combat.
nice don't cut it, does it?
No, not really. Not in this. Not in the minute when there's so many things we can play.
Yeah.
Which is the hard thing for indie developers, as much as, well, not even indie developers, to be fair, these days. It's every developer, because there's so many games to play. And you just can't, it's hard to, as you say, good sometimes at the minute just doesn't cut it.
Yeah. And this looks like it falls, it's sort of like a weird subgenre almost of like stuff like Sable and
very much
Solar
made me
Ash,
think,
and stuff like that, where you're just traversal, sort of skimming around a big, pretty open world, and not much else going on in a way.
And I don't think the world should be as empty as it feels. I think for the type of game it's trying to be, the world just needs a wee bit more in it. It's too empty.
It's reminded me, I can't remember what console it was on, but it's going back a good long way, where you were on a hoverboard, like a skateboard hoverboard type thing, just going into.
Was that the Omno one? But it wasn't a hoverboard; it was like a stick, but you were still hovering.
I can't remember, but just it's the first time I've thought
of hovering.
Was it? maybe we Google, but just it's like I've not thought of that game for I don't know, decades, a couple 20 years or something like that. I can't remember, but just some of the gameplay has reminded me, has it hauled the memory of whatever that game is from my long-term memory banks.
Do dig down.
And I think it's in no way, shape or form a bad game. Well,
No.
I'd say the combat, but that's maybe personal preference.
Yeah.
Because and I think like the review scores and stuff like kind of say the same. Like it's sitting, I think OpenCritic it's 72. So I mean it's sitting around that kind of 7 out of 10 mark, which is a good game, but it's just not great. Which is it probably shouldn't sound as negative about, but I think it's where we're at the minute.
There's got to be a cut off. I think we've been spoiled this year with a load of 8s. Like, I keep thinking like I don't think we've had any like 10 out of 10 bangers this year yet, but there's been some really, really good 8s, and you know, we've mentioned one on this episode. We mentioned one basically every episode.
And most,
yeah. Anything below that is a bit like close but no cigar. I should also just say when I mentioned Sable there, it sounded like I was being sort of disparaging. I would say Sable is an excellent game, and if you like this, you should try that if you haven't played Sable before, Alex. That is lovely. Runs like complete arse, but it is really good.
Always has from day one, hasn't it? I remember when it launched on Xbox.
Yeah, still like that. But
the game I'm thinking of is Airblade, which was on the PS2.
I don't even remember that.
No.
It's absolute horseshit.
Airblade. No, I don't know that one.
I have one thing, just very briefly want to mention.
Please, take your time. There's no need to be brief.
I've only had a very brief interaction with it. After last time out, I decided to play Desert Strike.
Oh, this is after under defeat in the last episode.
Yes, played Desert Strike, and Ben, you're like, I actually think it's quite difficult. And you're right.
Hey,
it's very difficult. Like, I can't, because I remember loving both Desert and Jungle Strike, and I was pretty chuffed when I seen Desert Strike. I think Jungle Strike's on there as well, but I've got more of an affinity with Desert Strike, because I'm a serving veteran. That's a lie. It's tricky. It's I don't remember being shot down as much back in the day as I was when I played it a week or so ago. But man, it brought back some good memories of sitting at my friend's house in front of their old CRT, cross-legged on the floor, playing all those games. Yes,
I think that's a good thing about this wacky device that you've treated yourself to, is just unlocking some of those memories. And it's only from talking about Under Defeat, that reminded us of Desert Strike and Jungle Strike, and then that's reminded me where I played it. I don't think I ever owned either of them, but this guy who used to work for my dad, called Glenn, he had a Mega Drive, and I can remember going to his house, and like obviously my parents were probably just drinking with their friends, blah blah blah, and I can just remember sitting at his Mega Drive playing Desert Strike and thinking, this is fucking hard. This is cool. Like, it looks amazing, but I just remember it. I can't remember because it's like isometric, isn't it? And the controls are quite wonky, and
Yep.
But yeah, shout out to Glenn.
It's just made me think of a very similar situation. Like when it was my dad's friend who had a Mega Drive, and we would go to their house. I remember sitting playing Afterburner on the Mega Drive, but they had the big arcade stick as well. We were like playing it with that. Anyway. And that Mega Drive did end up being mine, which was nice. Brought back those memories too, Ben.
Oh, that's nice. Mega Drives were cool. I can remember.
Yeah,
because I had an NES at the time, and going from the NES to seeing a Mega Drive in real life was like, oh my god. This is cool.
Headphone jack in the front and the the volume control for it specifically and stuff. It was
such a weird machine. But it was good. It was good. Thanks for that, Lewis.
Quite right.
I enjoyed that little trip down memory lane.
I also played Empire of Steel for any OG Mega Drive fans out there.
What is
Steel
Empire of
Empire,
Steel?
as I believe it was called in the States.
What is that?
It's a side-scrolling shooter. It's like a steampunk style. You can either go like a Zeppelin or a wee biplane.
Right.
Quite a cool side-scrolling shooter. Great, and I mean great tune. The theme for Empire of Steel is a certified banger.
I might have to check that out. And perhaps we can use it for a future edition of Guess the Outro.
Time what?
Time Bomb, Alex. It's very clear. Time Bomb.
I thought it was a werewolf.
This is the part of the show where my wife comes in and says, "Is everything okay?" That sounds weird. No, where we do. Right, you guess the game I'm thinking of. I'll give you 10 clues. Guess the outro. Simple as that. You know what to do. So here is clue number 10. Single player.
Mario Odyssey.
Nope. Number 9. 2D.
Mario Brothers.
No. Number 8. This could go on. Number 8. Pixel art.
Mario Bros. 2.
No. Although, best Mario Brothers soundtrack, Mario 2, I would say. Controversial pick, but I love
Best
it.
vegetables.
The Turnip. Number 7. Indie. It's an indie. So you can't guess that anymore.
Animalware.
Nope, not Animal. Number 6.
So I've just got an image in head of you sat down at a family table having a lovely bowl of turnip soup or something like that. And you go, that turnip.
But that's what you'd end up back in the day when you had your, like, when we didn't get pumpkins, you had a turnip that was carved.
Did you?
Yeah. It's a string on
another
it to
world up there,
carry it
isn't
and everything.
If you've never seen a carved pumpkin, a carved turnip, they are terrifying.
I can imagine. Number 6. Originally released on Nintendo Switch and PC.
Ooh.
Great clue.
So single player side. So what was the second one? Side scroller. 2D. 2D. That was it. Switch indie on the Switch. Hollow Knight.
No, not Hollow Knight. Number 5. Destructoid. They're back. And this time around they say, "Its stunning look, fantastic soundtrack, and clever writing coupled with the amazing gameplay put it a step above the rest." Thank you, Destructoid.
Clever writing. And what could you read that out normally, please, so
In a
we can
normal voice.
actually interpret
Fantastic. Its stunning look, fantastic
Good
soundtrack,
Destructoid.
and clever writing coupled with the amazing gameplay put it a step above the rest. Sorry, Destructoid.
SteamWorld Dig 2.
What a game that is. But no. Number 4. Made in Canada.
Grindstone.
No, not Grindstone.
What a soundtrack on that one, though.
What a soundtrack. Sammy Webster. Like a turnip.
Am I right? That's Canadian.
don't know. I've just got turnips on the brain.
That's it. That's how we're going to rank our soundtracks from now on the turnip scale.
Turn it up.
Oh, brilliant. That's what we should change the name of this, finally. No, what were we at? 3. Number 3, 2 genres.
No, Cult of the Lambs. Australian, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think
That's that thing in
is.
Dave the Diver there, but I think that released on all platforms at the same time.
It came to Switch later. It's also, I don't think it's Canadian. What else is Canadian? I'm sure we've
I
heard Canadian
think
as the thing before, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah, it always
We
throws you off.
definitely have.
What have you got against Canada?
Nothing.
In many ways, Canada is the Scotland of North America, isn't it?
Right. Yeah,
I always
I've
think.
got a nice maple leaf pin badge right in front of me.
Have you?
Well, there you
Like
go.
Canada. Yeah.
I've
Got
got
that during the
maple syrup
Commonwealth
in the
Games.
fridge.
The fridge. That's a discussion
To-
for a chin bat. What goes
Well-
in the fridge?
I think it. Yeah, let's save it for that. Any guesses? Number 3 there.
What was the clue again? 2 genres.
2 genres.
Tricky. The Messenger.
The Messenger. Great guess, and it's correct.
Yay!
Well done. Great work.
Well done, Lewis.
Those 2 genres being action platformer and Metroidvania.
Metroidvania.
I was going to say like time shift mechanic, but I think that would have been a bit too easy.
Yes.
So
I've not played it, so I would have never got there.
Another great soundtrack. Another 10 out of 10 Turnip.
yeah, absolutely. Turnip up, indeed. Your
It
other
gets
2
certified.
your other 2 clues would have been post-launch DLC, because obviously it had that Picnic Panic DLC that came out for it. And your last clue was nominated for the Game Awards Best Independent Game alongside, and get this for a fucking list of nominees, Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, and Return of the Obra Dinn.
Wow.
What a year.
Wow.
2018 was.
I mean, I wouldn't have said that was an easy clue for number 1.
No.
Well, you don't have to worry, do you? Because you
No, but it's just I'm just critiquing these levels of clues, Ben.
Well, what it would have done would have told you the year without telling you the year, and it would have told you the caliber of the game without telling you the score. So
Was that 2018?
2018? Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't have necessarily told you the caliber of the game. The other ones could have been good, and then they would have just had to fill the final slot.
Wow. Really taking the edge off this victory here, Alex. This attitude.
I enjoyed it. Do you remember the hissy fit I had towards the beginning? I was just not having fun with it. I was like, it's
Yeah, that does ring a
having a
bell.
proper grump about the game. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about the game? I just thought you were talking about one of your hissy fits.
Generally,
I'm playing a game. Here comes a hissy fit. Yeah. But no, you're dead right about the soundtrack. It's one of my favourites to work to. Like I find
is it?
really
Which one?
Yeah.
Which?
I listen to both. So I listen to so there's disc 1 is the 8-bit chiptune, and then disc 2 is like the 16-bit one, isn't it? And yeah, I just listen to them both, start to finish.
Nice.
Just have them on and get in that flow state.
I have a favourite of out of them all as well. Let's wonder if it's the song you picked.
Let's see.
Which is so Ninja Village, I think it's called, from the 16-bit.
Yeah.
Is my favourite song.
I can't remember how, because I always listen to it like an album.
Oh yeah,
They all kind of blend into one. But that does ring a bell. Ninja Village. It's not the one I've chosen. I've actually chosen Hills of Destiny.
Oh, yes.
Autumn Hills, which is one of the earlier tracks on it. But yeah, Rainbow Dragon Eyes, the composer of the whole soundtrack. It's really good. If you like good chiptune stuff, highly recommend it.
Yep.
And a brilliant game. Like, I love the
100%.
Messenger. I've often thought of double dipping just so I can have the physical version of the Messenger, because I do think it's a special one.
What does the bet say about buying games you've already got?
So I have queried
okay.
that. Yeah. And Phil did say, yeah, go for it. That's fair enough. But I feel like he's become more... I feel like the power has corrupted him a little bit.
Yeah.
And if I said it now, he'd be like, no, can't do that. So, do you know what I mean? He's changed a little bit.
He okayed my purchase.
I bet he treats you...
device.
He doesn't treat us all equally. He lets you get away with murder. So, yeah. But I can wait. I can wait till the 5th of June. And then the floodgates are open, baby.
Not long.
Not long at all. But until then, we leave you with this wonderful song, Hills of Destiny, Autumn Hills, from The Messenger.